minutes. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 416 of Picks and Ponies, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your very proud host, Howard Kravitz. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Boy, do we have a show tonight, and do we have some announcements? 3 in particular that I can't wait to tell you about that we're going to be discussing throughout this show. But the main feature of tonight is going to be the humongous, gigantic, monstrous day at Churchill Downs this Saturday. There are 6 stakes on Saturday. We're going to be talking about all of them. It is the $1 million Stephen Foster card day at Churchill Downs. Stephen Foster itself is a grade 1. There's other great stakes. We're going to talk about all 6 stakes. And as most of you know by now, or some of you know, yours truly, me, I will be at Churchill Downs this weekend reporting live from the winner's circle from the paddock with interviews, special guests, hopefully, commentary, maybe little tours of Churchill. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be spontaneous. I'll tell you about that show coming up on Saturday. But for right now, please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player. Also comment below the video player when this is up on YouTube. Of course, we'll have many people in the live chat. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Tip sheets. We're going to talk about a special tip sheet later throughout the show, but we do have our standard Power Pick tip sheet that comes on Saturdays only. Look below the video player for information about our standard Power Pick tip sheet. There's information on our website, which also we're going to go to later in the show to talk about something else special going on, hhhracingpodcast.com. I'm so excited. I've got so many things to talk about. So let's just get started. Again, big card Churchill Saturday. We're here to talk about. Let me bring in my fantastic co-hosts who are going to help us navigate through this handicapping puzzle that is Churchill Downs on Saturday. First, from the Saratoga Special and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Mr. Paul Halloran, and from the East Coast of Maryland, not too far from his beloved Laurel Park, Mr. Pete Visco. Gentlemen, big show, big happenings on this podcast. How are we doing tonight?
What's up, gents? Hey, Paul. I feel like I haven't seen you in months, it feels like.
Yeah, I was on the road last week for a little longer than I expected to be, but
I wasn't there either. So we were ships passing in the night, so neither one of us were around last week.
The gang is all back, but I was able to surprise Matt Miller and myself. Actually, we were able to see Paul because of his traveling issues.
Yeah,
we were nice. Benefit, Pete. If you got a nice, we had a nice
in Chicago,
meal.
Paul. Did you get stuck there a little bit?
I was there for about 9 hours.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
One of the best 9 hours of your life, though. Correct, Paul?
Oh, it's great. You guys saved the day.
Oh, we appreciate that. We had a nice Italian dinner and talked life and horse racing and all sorts of things. But we are here, guys, to talk about Churchill Downs. Now, let me, I don't want to tease people for too much longer. We have 3 items we're going to talk about throughout the show. Guys, I'm not going to talk about the beginning. I want to get right to the races. But there are 3 different very important announcements that we're going to talk about. 2 of them during the in-between the races, guys. And then at the very end, Paul Halloran has an important announcement on a more personal note that he'll be discussing. We're filming live here Thursday, guys, at 8:05, and Churchill's going on. People are going to be watching or listening as a replay. Pete and Paul are probably thinking, Howard, we already know this already. Well, we don't know. There's a big carryover at Churchill Downs, and there's a mandatory payout on Sunday if it doesn't pay out. This is a jackpot pick 6. It started today, Thursday, with a 30-1, guys, and the third leg was a 5-1. So I don't know why it always happens this way, but it's carried over for like a month and a half or something. We're going to have to keep our eyes on it, guys, see what kind of prices come in at Churchill tonight as we're filming live, because I don't know about you guys. I want to carry over for Sunday. There could be as much as, I don't know, 8-9 million in that rainbow pool on Sunday if it carries over today and tomorrow, Paul.
Well, it's not going to carry. It's certainly not going to be a single ticket on Saturday, so you don't have to
No.
worry about that. So,
Agreed.
I
as
was
you
going to say
said,
that it's a jackpot, right? Single ticket.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Jackpot.
it is.
Jackpot.
So
But
yeah, Saturday's going to be tough.
I think
Paul.
you're on target, Howard. If you get that one really, really high priced winner like the first leg, and then get some middle type winners that are not impossible to get, but I would be. I've seen it happen at Gulfstream so many times, and it just pisses me off because you handicap the thing. I maintain if you get to the day before, they don't offer the bet the day before.
Because it always hits, right? Just
Give it away
yeah.
Sunday. We're not offering it Saturday. Thank you for shopping. Come back Sunday.
I've also found that when there's a big price in the first or last race, it's less likely that someone hits it because a lot of people hit the all button in the first or last leg, but not as much the middle leg. I've actually noticed that. So the fact that it was the first leg, Pete, was the 30-1. I mean, we'll see what happens here tonight. Again, people that are watching the replay video or audio, like how do we already know that it hit Thursday, or we already know that it's carrying over to Sunday. But anyway, interesting to see what happens, guys. All right, let's get to the live chat because the live chat is extremely active right now. We have a lot of people watching. I mean, Katie was ready a long time ago. We already know. Matt Miller, I'm pulling a Jackson, taking this one from the car. Wow. All right, Matt, what's up? How you doing? Let's see here. Bob Segura is here. Gary Matthews, I don't believe I've seen his name, but he's ready. Thank you, Gary. We got Christopher NG is here. Let's see. He said, hope the weather is okay. It should be. There's a chance of rain. I'm not going to talk about it because Pete and Paul get pissed. But Dr. K is here. Ralph Conti, representing the Italians and many other people, is here. Let's see here. Look who's here. Oldie from Equine Edge. Hello, Howard HHE team. Just stopping before our show for a few. What's up, Oldie? Thank you. Appreciate that. Tanner. Wait a minute, Tanner. We gotta talk, Tanner. He's gonna be there also at Churchill. Tanner, email me or look me up. Send me a DM and we'll have a beverage. See what I can do for you. And look who's here. He hasn't been here for a while. Penn State Scott is only here for one reason, though. Just the rant. So Penn State Scott will be back in 50 minutes, guys?
We did
for the rant. We'll see.
We did a wellness check on him. I'm glad Penn State Scott's okay.
David Jaffe's here. John Fort Wendell. Aloha. Maybe he's in Hawaii. I don't know. All right, guys, let's get started. Now we're gonna talk about the late pick 5. However, the first stake race on Saturday is outside of the late pick 5. It's actually the opening leg of the pick 6. Great job, by the way, in my opinion, by the racing secretary to keep this race, guys, out of the late pick 5 because it's only a 5-horse field, if I remember correctly. So Let's go to it. But I'll tell you what, there is some star talent on Saturday at Churchill Downs. Not closing day. Their closing day is Sunday. Let me go ahead and bring up. We'll go through this race a lot quicker than the other ones, but here it is. The first race that we are going to discuss on Saturday is the Fleur de Lis, Grade 2. Many very talented fillies and mares have won this race. About 352 Eastern, $500,000. Mile and eighth, like I said, for the older girls. Only field of 5, and there she is. Torpedo Anna, the number 3, guys, 3-5. Now, last time the three of us discussed Torpedo Anna on the show, there were slings and arrows thrown at us, guys. I mean, what did all of us go against Torpedo? I think we did, right?
Yep.
And boy, I was like, oh, you guys are crazy. Torpedo's not going to lose. She's unstoppable. She's a beast. She's the grizzly. Oh boy, things did not go well. We all happen to be right in that situation. Are we all going against Torpedo Anna again? Let's find out on the screen. Well, this time only one of us is going against Torpedo Anna. I'm going 3-1-4. Paul's going 3-1-2, and Mr. Visco is going against the Grizzly Bear again with the number 1 Royal Spa. Let's actually talk about Torpedo Anna first. Paul, you and I are not messing around this time. Every race tells its own story, right? Everything is situational. Sometimes we love a favorite. Sometimes we don't love a heavy favorite. I'm going to let you talk about why you believe Torpedo Anna will get the job done on Saturday, 3-5 on the morning line.
Well, I almost picked the 1, Pete. I was very, very, very close. But I think, Howard, 2 reasons. Short field, longer distance. I just don't see. I think she has her own way in this race, and I just think at this mile and an eighth, if she can go set the pace, I just don't. I'm not sure who's running with her. Uh, I don't know. I was dead against her last time. Now the concern is this: if she was two bad races, I would not have come back with her. One bad race, I think you got to give her the benefit of the doubt. She's still only 4. But I just think at a mile and an eighth, she gets to run this on her terms, and I just think she's going to be tough.
Paul, without bringing up the somewhat silly debate of Zenyatta versus Rachel, because they're both unbelievable. They were both unbelievable mares. Remember, Rachel Alexandra was the bee's knees her 3-year-old season. And then her 4-year-old year was just not the same. They retired her, etc. Still an unbelievable career. Is there any bit of Torpedo Anna in this? Do you think maybe she's just not the same as she was as when she was 3, or has it just been situational this year?
I think that's possible. That's why I said if I saw two clunkers in a row, then I would definitely be subscribing to that. But 72 buyer last time. She hasn't been in the 70s for 2 years, so it's possible. I wouldn't say it's probable, but I think it's possible. And Pete picked against her, so maybe he thinks it is probable.
Well, I'll let Pete talk in just a second. Paul, here's how I feel, and Pete, about Torpedo Anna. I'd love to go against her, but Paul, like you said, she's loose on the lead this time. There's no Darth Vader inside of her to mess around. And the mile and eighth, I think, might work. I don't know if that's going to work to her benefit, but she's loose. If she doesn't win this race, guys, I mean, I don't think she's the same anyway she was last year. And to be honest, I've always thought she was a little bit overrated. We've talked about this one number Travers situation several times, although she ran well in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but it was a weak race. Okay. If she doesn't win on Saturday, Paul, I don't know what to say. I mean, someone's going to have to run a really big race here. Maybe it is going to be the number 1 for Pete. She's supposed to get the job done here. That's just how I feel. I mean, I'm going to play others. I'm not going to Stone Cold single her, but I mean, isn't she supposed to get the job done, guys and ladies watching? She really is. Now, let's talk about Pete's pick. I agree with you, Paul. I have Royal Spa in second. Pete, I watched the replay of the Shawnee a few times. She was as professional as can be. I was against her that day. Look, most people were, Pete. She was 13 plus to 1. She'd never gone a mile and a 16th before. Sounds sort of like a horse from last week that I will fall on the sort of a minute that ran in Ohio that I was totally wrong about. I don't have any sense at all, Pete, by watching her that she can't get a mile and eighth. She's improving. She's going to sit a great trip. I still think Torpedo's the one to beat, but this is a serious threat of Royal Spa. That's your top choice.
Yeah, you guys are right, though. I mean, Torpedo Anna should have the run of the race, and I think that's the toughest thing. But the way I look at it is, I think Royal Spa, you said everything. I think she's improving, and she's run maybe her 2 best races stretching out. Now, she hasn't stretched out this far in a while, but she stretched back out, and she ran 2 pretty top-notch races. So maybe she is just getting better. You get Pratt for the second time. You get the rail trip. So obviously, most likely, I Torpedo Anna goes to the lead. Royal Spa sits in second. And the way she beats her is she has to get to her. She has to get to her relatively early. So like on the turn, I think she has to start making her move, get up next to Torpedo Anna and see if she's good enough to pass her. And the way I look at it is Torpedo Anna, morning line 3 to 5. I assume she'll be all of that, if not less, for whatever reason. And if she isn't what she was, then you're still getting value because she's going to be so low because of her reputation, because of her name, because of what she's done in the past. So I think this is maybe another time to try and get her because you can get other horses at a price when maybe she just, and even if she wins, she may not be what she was. She could still beat this field without being, horse of the year type Torpedo Anna. But I think, again, if she gets bet down as much as she's going to, most likely, it seems like another logical time to try and get her.
Yep. We've got Gingin in third, Pete, and Paul's got the 2 in third. I don't know how you guys, which is a big price. I don't know how a serious threat that you guys feel Jin Jin is. I will say one thing about Jin Jin in this race, guys. She's going to set a perfect trip in theory, right? Right off of Torpedo Anna. Isn't this the one that's going to get first run on Torpedo Anna, guys? If she falters,
She can do the dirty work, which would be nice, right? If she does the dirty work and goes at Torpedo Anna first.
yeah, I don't think she. I think she's going to be sitting off. I don't.
No.
I,
I
let, me-
mean,
let me.
no, I'm
I don't think
talking
she's.
about.
I don't think she's pressing
No,
Torpedo. I
no,
think
no. I'm
she's going
talking
to
about
sit
when
a
they hit
length or
the
two off her flank.
when they hit the stretch. She could be the one that
Yes.
goes first, and then
Yes.
maybe they soften each other up down the lane, and then Royal Spa.
Perhaps.
Because again, I like just having Pratt too making that decision. Like, am I the one who goes,
Right.
or no? Look, Jin Jin's going. Let me wait a minute. Let's see if they can hook up a little bit, and then I go and follow like last time. So, again, if she gets on the lead and just takes them around the track, it wouldn't be a surprise by any stretch, obviously. But I think it's a decent time to try and get her.
I think as a racing fan, taking betting completely out of the equation, I'd like to see Torpedo Anna win, and we want our superstars to run well, right? But what I'd really like to see is a thrilling finish to the wire. Whoever wins. But look, you're going to get two horses. Actually, the three best horses in theory, guys, are all going to get great trips if they break. You never know. Blah blah blah. By the way, Churchill Downs leg 4, another 5-1 1. Um, Again, people watch this as a replay. We don't know. We're taping this live here at 8:15 right now Eastern. But this pick 6 at Churchill is getting very. Now there is a mandatory payout anyway on Sunday. Just want to let everyone know because it's the last day. So there we go. Tanner Hawkins. I really don't like this race. Well, Tanner, these are some nice fillies and mares. If there was even one other horse to run with Torpedo Anna early, I'd be against her again here. Tanner, completely agree with you on that, but there is not. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's go on to the next race. Then we'll do announcement number 1 of 3 that we're going to be discussing tonight that of much importance. The opening leg of the pick 5. Let me take the banner off the screen. The opening leg of the pick 5 is right here, guys. This is the Tepin, named after an unbelievable turf filly, who, by the way, won at Royal Ascot during her career. That's how good she was. This is a field of 8. The race named after her, restricted 3-year-olds, $250,000 on the turf. A 1 mile morning line favorite is the number 5, Lush Lips, for Walsh and Flavian. Few quick things, guys. First of all, they got a heavy thunderstorm today. It's supposed to be okay tomorrow. Chance of scattered storms throughout the weekend. The turf's been very firm and very dry. So all these races are going to be on the turf unless there's a monsoon, which I don't expect that. Of course, last time I was at Churchill, guys, was Derby weekend. So exactly, Paul. Who knows what's going to happen? Anyway, there's a horse missing in this race, guys. Who's missing from these gals? Yes, Paul.
Is it a chemical gas?
It is not. I don't see oxygen running in this race. It is nitrogen. I'm assuming she's in New York, Paul. I haven't heard anything. Is that a fair
No,
guess? I don't.
yeah, you would have to think we're going to see her at on Union
think.
Avenue, which is just fine by me.
I would think. Here's our picks on the bottom of the screen for the Tepin. I'm going 162. Paul's going 654, and Pete is going 562. So we're a little bit different here. I'm going with a price. And I wanted to fall on the sword because let me go full screen for a second. Sometimes we're really, really right, and sometimes we're really wrong. I could not have been more wrong. I just want to say it publicly about Moplex, and congratulations to that New York bred in the Ohio Derby. The horse had never gone 2 turns, blew by Clever again, who clearly has got some issues. I'm obviously not chasing after him anymore. I don't know what his story is. And then held off 2 others. So congratulations to New York bred Moplex, and congrats to Ryan Jackson, who was or Ryan Anderson. Geez, I've done that twice. Sorry, Ryan. Ryan Anderson, who was on the show and picked Moplex. Great pick. I could not have been more wrong. I just want to say that because, look, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But Moplex got the job done in Ohio. Anyway, there's no nitrogen here, guys, but there is horses that have been facing her. Let's go to you first, Pete. You're going to go with Lush Lips, who is the morning line favorite, and we'll show speed.
Yeah, and I like the dimension even last time in the Edgewood where She sort of got stuck a lot further back than normal into a slow pace and still was able to close. Now, again, she could be just to me, she might be just one of those horses that she's just better than everybody except nitrogen. And that's the problem in the last two. And now we're getting her against a field that she might just be better than. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And I think even just showing last time that she was able to sit off some. And again, you have Pratt last time, you're getting Pratt back again. So has a feel for her, has a feel for how she runs. I think if she's just better, and again, the 9-5 price sort of leans that way. If she's better, this will be the time to show it without nitrogen here. Let's go with the Pratt double is where I'm going.
You want her just on the lead and send Pete? Is that the
I mean, I think
here?
I think that's most likely what's going to happen. I mean, if you're just looking at the pace, it seems like there is other speed though. So there's speed to the inside. If you look at the time form, there's speed to the inside, there's speed to the outside. But again, I always trust Pratt. Pratt's not the type to get sucked into something stupid on the lead. So I think just having that horse show that dimension last time, even if it maybe wasn't the plan, maybe it showed, hey, we don't have to be right on the lead if some other horses go and we don't want to get stuck in the middle dueling like that. Maybe we can sit off.
I know it's hard for people to see, but there's something I don't like, Pete. And I don't know if you saw this or know about this.
I did.
That scratch for people, it's hard to see right now. People can't. It's small. Again, I don't know how unsound she is because a lot of trainers complain that a horse has a pimple and Heisa scratches her. But she was a vet scratch May 31st. I don't like that at all. And she did miss some time. She didn't work then for another 2 weeks, although she worked fine, at least on paper. I don't like that, Pete, but you're not. That doesn't bother you.
I mean, I no, it's definitely a valid concern. The question would be whether it matters, and we don't know.
Yep.
So you either have to go blind faith and say I don't care, or you have to do what you're doing. Looks like and saying, you know what, that's enough. I'm going elsewhere. Let's try and
Well, it was that combined with the pace situation. I just want to be clear
Yeah.
to our viewers and listeners. It's not just the vet scratch because, like I said,
No, it's a combination, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's a combination.
For me, it is.
Yeah.
And 9-5. There's a lot of things, but you could absolutely be right. I could be completely wrong about this.
My whole lean is,
Saturday.
what if she's just better than them and just hasn't had a chance to show it yet? And I guess we'll see. But we're going to talk Vixen right now with Paul, so she could be similar, I think.
Paul, here's another one that's actually similar to Lush Lips. They've both been chasing nitrogen, and she's a little more, she's not off the pace, but I think Lush Lips would prefer to be right on the lead. I think Vixen can set off. To me, these two are very similar.
They are. And I went into before I watched the replay, I went into it kind of thinking like Pete, and I don't disagree with anything regarding Lush Lips, but I just thought Vixen got, Chase Gowles Delight, and if you want to gauge that, Gowles Delight is coming up in this next race at Churchill, and then did get the lead at one point, I believe, or was within ahead, and Nitrogen is too good, and she got nailed right on the wire by Lush Lips for second. I don't know. I thought Vixen ran at least as well, if not maybe a notch better. So I had a hard time separating them, but I landed with Vixen.
By the way, Paul, Gowles Delight just ran, and I think ran last.
That was the seventh.
Fifth. It looks like fifth.
Was it? Okay, but it was a small field, so I don't know.
Yeah, fifth out of 7 at 3-2 though, so not so good.
I don't know how much that translates to this particular race and the form lines, but it is worth. I mean, that was slop, right? So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, worth mentioning. Vixen's my second choice, and to me, I like her a little more than Lush Lips for the reasons that I talked about, guys. I just feel like could be some. I mean, what's Ninth Island doing? Number 7, she's not going. I mean, she has to go. Although Brian Hernandez has never been a send guy, but I mean, all this horse knows is going to lead. So if the 7 shows speed, again, the 2, I think something stronger, which we'll talk about in a second, is a bit interesting, and it's coming out of a sprint race. Although I think James Graham will probably have her stalking, but she's not slow. Guys, here's my thought. I don't love Lush Lips, the reasons I've talked about. Vixen is fine. Fixin' to be, speaking of Fixin', guys, Fixin' to be the number one, 8-1, is very interesting for two reasons. When you look at the buyers, guys, she's too slow, right? Mid 70s versus low 80s, 5 or 6 points. That's about 2 to 3, 2 to 4 lengths. Slow, right? Then you go to the time form US, which Pete, you and I specifically talked about a lot. She's right there. I mean, she's absolutely right there on the time form with the 5 and the 6. Now, let me just show everyone very quickly for people not familiar with time form, then we'll move along here. But time form is just another speed figure. You look on the far right, Vixen to be 105, 106 in her last two, right? Let's go to the favorites here. Okay, 109, but before that, 101, 105, and then Vixen 103, 107. And again, Fixin' to be, guys, is 105, 106. I mean, okay, maybe a length slow. I have to believe in what I believe in, and I believe in time form. I think Fixin' to be is getting a little bit better, and I love, 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 love a turn back. She's turning back. She's going to get speed to run into. She's going to be a price. I think there's still room to grow here. I'm going Fixin' to be. I don't know if she's going to win, guys, but I think she's going to run a big race here at a price. Thoughts on Fixin' to be and anything else in this race, Mr. Halloran?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, you get the red hot Florent Giroux going your way,
Yeah, I
so I'm
know.
sure you're happy about
Well,
that.
I don't like him on dirt, but on turf, I got no problem with him, Paul.
Well, I would say the opposite. So that's probably all you need to know.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like I could see the time form argument because if you look at the buyer, she's very consistently in the low to mid 70s, and never been higher, and you
I
would
agree.
think it's going to take something higher than that for this race.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. Pete, you want to say anything about something stronger? 10-1, the 2 horse.
That's a horse I think I would play. I would maybe, if I'm playing this race, just vertically, I think I would maybe play like a Lush Lips, something stronger. I kind of like that. I think this horse, we just don't know. Ran 5 furlongs, came back. They tried to put the horse on the dirt going long debut, which is usually a good sign for going long that they think, hey.
Yeah.
And then they said, let's sprint this horse at 5 and ran great. And now is stretching out. And from a breeding standpoint, it looks like routing on turf is what she wants to do. I actually think she could be a shot on the win end. I think when I'm playing the pick 5, I'm using her. I'm going to use her as well. And in case you can beat Lush Lips and that, especially if the speed duel, like you were talking, if that comes to fruition, then I think this one could sit off. And I get it started off with a price. If that horse, I don't know about 10-1, but I would take anything 8, 7, 8 up.
I recommend people watch the replay of her win. She was, it was very fast paced, Pete. But I didn't get the sense that she was like a small, quick filly that wanted to sprint. Like the way again, we're all big on the visual, especially me. I think she can stretch out. I mean, I don't see a reason why she can't. She already went the distance on dirt, right? Don't remember that, right?
Yeah, I mean, she debuted a mile and a 16, so they must have assumed that she was better long, or they would have probably started her sprinting.
I think she's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about announcement number 1, guys. We have, and I'm going to go. I'll just leave it this way. We are now introducing once again for this summer our Saratoga only and Del Mar only meet power picks tip sheets. They're very affordable. They were very profitable last year. All the information is on our website. Let me put this up right now. They are available. The deadline for Saratoga is July 17th, and for Del Mar, it's July 24th. But I do want to mention the meets actually start the week before that. However, we are allowing people, if they forget, to sign up a week later, but we're not going to give away a free weekend because you forgot, ladies and gentlemen. So if you do forget and you sign up late, we're not going to prorate that, but you can still sign up for it late. You just simply go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com right here. And at the top, you click on Power Picks tip sheet and you see our drop down. There's our standard Saturday. You can do Saratoga only, Del Mar only. And then there's a nice discount if you do both Saratoga and Del Mar. So we recommend, of course, people do the combo. We won't go through all the details. You can look at our website. Highly recommend. Again, those are full card tip sheets for Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays of the Saratoga and Del Mar meet. Guys, it's right around the corner, both of them. Very excited. Pete, you looked like you wanted to add something.
Oh no, I was just gonna not to that. One thing to mention that 8th starts the $3 all turf pick 3. We didn't mention that.
It does
So
indeed.
they do have that. Yeah. And by the way, when we
Thank
get
you.
to my best bets, I played it, but I only put the dollar amount because I wasn't sure if it was a 3. I forgot. So
Right. I
but
changed
that
it.
is
That's okay.
something that I know
Yep.
people like to play, and it's a fun bet, and it does kick
Yeah.
off in that 8th race.
They're just adding it for Saturday and Sunday as a special. Thank you, Jim
Yep.
Goodman, right, Paul, for coming up with that idea. Our good friend from Keelan Racecourse. All right, we
Hey
have one
Paul,
more
it's
announcement.
okay to copy, right, Paul? You know, it's an homage. I think it's.
I would think, Jim, no idea in parimutuel wagering has ever been copied more than that. I could tell you that. So I'm sure Jim has it as a badge of honor that he was a pioneer. He's
As
the
he
best.
should. As he should. We have one more announcement regarding something specific to the podcast. Then Paul's rant will be a personal announcement coming up a little later. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Why would you? We got to talk about the Kelly's Landing, guys. Grade 3. I was wondering, is Mr. Dorman going to be there to present the trophy for this fall?
that's not a bad that's not a bad idea.
Got to get him on the phone. No, we're talking about Kelly Dorman, of course, wonderful father and husband, etc., from the Dorman family. Anyway, $250,000, $250,000, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. They are sprinting. Field at 8. Very, very fast, very, very talented horse who's on a roll. The number 3 Booth for Mr. Asmussen and his son Eric. 2-1 morning line. Let's see where we're going here as I'm going to bring the banners on the screen as I have to scroll down to race 9. There we go. I'm going 1-3-4. Paul's going 1-3-8. Pete is going 4-3-1. We are all going against Booth. I'm sure people at home are going to want some explanations because Booth is probably going to be on the lead and is just on a complete roll, like I said. Paul, you and I agree. We're going with the doctor. He's going to make a house call on Saturday. Dr. Venkman from the West Coast, Mr. Glatt, Mr. Fresu. Why, sir?
Well, I mean, if you look at, not that his 2 routes were bad. He won and he ran 4th in the Pacific Classic. But, as a sprinter, he's 5 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds. So all in the exacta. You look at the speed figures, extremely consistent. I don't love the rail at 7, or this is 6.5, but I just think if Fresu, whom I do like, can work out a trip, I think he's going to be rolling. I don't think he's going to be far off. I certainly don't expect to be on the lead, but I think he's going to be close enough. And Pete's horse, Roll on Big Joe, Leparoux is not typically a send guy, but this horse likes to go. And if someone could occupy Booth early, I just think there is a opportunity for Dr. Venkman to, maybe like come from 3rd or 4th and roll right by him in the stretch.
Guys, I've been waiting. I think you know this, but I've been waiting to bet against Booth for several races. He is a very good horse. I mean, look, he's really good, and I bet him before. But guys, I think he's gotten away with some very soft trips in softer spots. I think these are the best horses he's faced in a long time. And something that I don't think you mentioned, Paul, but of course I'm multitasking, so I apologize if I missed it. This is 6.5. This is not 6.
Yeah.
And Booth, the extra half furlong, especially at a long stretch like Churchill Downs, can absolutely matter. So while Booth is probably the horse to beat, I mean, he's won, 4 in a row, and I mean, he's super good right now. I just think there's other speed in the race, like the number 4. I think these are better animals, and I actually think Dr. Venkman's more talented. I mean, look who he's lost to. Nice Host, maybe the best one-turn horse in the country along with Raging Torrent, right? Mixto going 1.25 miles in the Pacific Class. Like, I don't think he wants to go that long. And Happy Jack in the Triple Bend finishing 2nd. This is a very good horse. He's going to sit the pocket, right? We would assume. I have no problem with Fresu. This horse has already shipped to Kentucky in 2023 and did it with a plum, just losing by a dirty neck. He's working well. This shows a lot of confidence to me, guys. They could have waited for the the Bing Crosby or the Pat O'Brien. I mean, there's a lot of, and maybe he is going there at Del Mar, but this is an aggressive spot, and I like it a lot. Pete, I was a little surprised 5-2. I thought it'd be higher in the morning line. I thought Booth would be like 8-5, and Venkman would be like 3-1. Do you think he'll only be 5-2 in this spot?
I could see him being low like this. I think Booth's morning line is too high. I assume Booth
No
is
doubt
going to be
about it.
lower for sure, right?
No doubt.
My only issue with Dr. Venkman, I won't belabor it too much. Mark Glatt hasn't had a ton of success in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So he's 1 for 15 here. So, which is funny though, because I think in a couple of races I have a Glatt horse on top. So I'm not really married to that to that negative stat there. But I agree with you guys. That horse is faced some really tough competition. And I think
Yeah.
Booth, I think you hit the nail on the head for me with Booth is, well, Asmussen is, he's been ice cold for the most part at this meet and at Churchill, and
a little hotter lately, by the way.
a little
Sorry,
hotter
Rick.
lately. It's, yeah, he's trending upwards, but I do think the extra half furlong and the fact that there is some other speed in here, although I don't want, because I have the 4 on top, I don't want the 4 to be the one who softens Booth up, but then also softens himself up as well. But I think the extra half furlong could get him if he takes a little bit of pressure and doesn't have it as easy as he's had in these last few.
Gentlemen, a 17-1 shot just won at Churchill. This,
Oh,
I mean, is it fair to say that, I mean, no one's going to be a single person alive to a horse?
Yes, it is.
That's unlikely, is what you're saying, Paul, right?
No, I think it's fair to say.
I mean, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Boy, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens. Pete, I agree with you. If they breathe on Booth, I mean, look what happened to Skelly, right? Skelly and world record went nutso. I don't know if they're going to do that to Booth, but I don't know. Let's talk about your horse. Roll on, Big Joe. Leperoux, like Paul said, is not exactly a Sen guy, but this horse is fast.
yeah.
I think they're going to be aggressive. I mean, wouldn't Leperoux at least be aggressive in the first 10 steps and see if he can outbreak Booth? I mean, at least that's going to happen. And if Booth outbreaks him, he's going to be sitting right off him. I'll tell you what, based on the time for him, again, maybe buyers, based on the time for him, he's almost as good as Booth, and he's run some big races. Roll on, Big Joe.
Well, it's funny you said that, because if you look, the one thing is you look 2 back, and that 2 back from a buyer standpoint, the loss to Top Gunner doesn't look as good. But then if you go to, you don't have to do it, but if you go to time form, ran a 120, which is sort of in the 100 range, if you sort of translate that over. So I'm looking at it going, this horse might just be getting better, and came back as a 5-year-old. Definitely improved over the 4-year-old form, and like you said, is fast, but has, can sit off a touch. So has passed horses, has come from, second, third. So it's not like he's going to close from too far back, but I think can sit off if Booth does break well and gets on the lead. And there is some other speed in here. I think Otto the Conqueror, again, that's Pratt, but I think Otto the Conqueror has some speed who can go.
Well, but that's the other Asmussens. They're not going to bang heads.
They're not. No, but I think has to go. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that at first. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so probably won't go. I just don't want my horse, the 4, to be the one who does too much and
how does he
kills
beat
himself
Booth?
as well.
He's going to sit just on his flank without going.
I would think sit on his flank.
Is that what you're thinking?
And then hopefully he can finish. I mean, he did run the 6.5. He's 2 for 3 at the 6.5. He's got a 97 buyer going 6.5. So again, maybe if that last half furlong gets to him a bit, a horse like Roll On Big Joe, who's done it before and has done it at Churchill, which is nice as well. Maybe he can just outkick him down the lane. And I assume that's exactly what you guys are thinking with Dr. Venkman as well.
Well, Paul, I don't know if you saw the pace projector. There's no way Dr. Venkman's going to be like, unless they're going 21-1, which is possible. Like, I don't want him 8 off it. I want Dr. Venkman 3 or 4 off it.
Yeah, I agree.
If they are going fast. He's a fast horse. There's no reason why he can't be up there in the mix, right? And guys, if Leperoux lets Eric Asmussen walk the dog, I'm going to seriously throw something at the monitor. Like, you cannot let Booth walk the dog. I'm not saying you got to go 20-3, but you got to be on his flank, right? Yeah, at the very least. This is a
well, you're
big
gonna be
race,
there.
right,
Why don't you brush up on your goddamn French and tell him before the race?
Yeah, get in there.
How do you say goddamn in French?
Don't talk to him after the race. Talk to him before the freaking
Oh, I'm
race
going to
and
be
help
there.
us
You want
out
me
a
to
little
talk to him
bit.
in the paddock? I can
Just
talk
say,
to him.
look,
No, I
man.
mean, you're in a position to do something about it.
I don't know if that's legally true, but hey, no, it's just.
Well, you don't have to fight him. You just have to,
I could just
whisper
say,
a little
hey,
bit.
Julian, good luck. You're, make sure you or how do
Yeah.
I say that
Don't be an
diplomatically?
idiot. Say, don't be
You're
an idiot.
going.
No, I
You're
don't think that's
going,
going to work
right?
well.
Yeah, you're go. By
Should I
the way,
say, Julian, good luck on the lead today?
yeah.
How
Just
about
don't
that?
work too hard. Tell him. Don't work.
Okay.
By the way, my
That might
dad
be a
will like
very
that.
interesting interview afterwards if he lets Booth just walk the dog eyes.
Well, I assume you won't be interviewing him if
Well,
unless he walks the dog.
maybe not live, that's for sure. But people don't know what we're talking about. We'll talk about that. Actually, we talk about it right now. All right, that's the Kelly's Landing, guys. Let's do it. Let's discuss very quickly why we're even mentioning this. We got a lot of people in the chat. Let's see. Right, the Wire said no singles in this race. Let's see. Katie, oh, for the French, Sylvain said he can help from Quebec.
There you go, Sylvain. Take care of
Sylvain,
it
thank
for
you.
us.
Appreciate that.
Uh,
Right at the Wire thinks the management of Booth is suspicious. I maybe that he's been off for a little bit. I don't know. Paul, yes.
The 11 is paying 1.58 million. I assume that's an only ticket.
Ooh.
Yes. Is that the only one?
Correct.
And what are his odds right now?
12-1.
Okay. So that's amazing. Now, are there others that actually paid out for more than once, or is just?
Yeah, 106, 80, 64, 35, and 80.
Wow.
So what?
A lot of them are covered.
106 would be 10, 11, 12, 13 tickets.
Something, yeah, with the takeout, etc. Wow. So the 11 out of pie.
Out of
Interesting with the
pie.
math reference.
We'll
The
bring
11,
you a
we are
lot of
rooting
cake.
against the 11, except for that person that's alive. And I almost
I
said
know.
yesterday, by the way. That was oof. All right, guys. Let's talk about Saturday. Saturday, very quickly. Let me bring up the banner for it. We have a live show. Very exciting. Live show. Where's the banner? There it is. Live show, 3:30 Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. 3:30 Eastern live show. Kyle Roscoe of Ben Boozer will be hosting first, and then he's going to pass the proverbial baton over to Noah Maher. But we've got a lot of people on the show. Matt Miller will be on the show. We have someone new. I think we'll just let him announce himself, guys, on Saturday. But we have someone new as part of the show. They'll be joining us as a co-host. I believe Charlie Freeman will be on the show. Let's see who else. So there are a bunch of people. All right, Paul, you're going to be on for sure. So we have a lot of people that are going to be on Saturday as they talk about these races we're discussing. I will be, again, live at Churchill, interviewing trainers, jockeys, live on air. Tours of Churchill Downs, going to be in the paddock. I'm going to whisper to Julian LaPeroux, tell him make sure he shows speed.
That's all you're doing. That's the only thing you have to do.
Okay,
That's your job.
Well, can I give Royal Spa a nice little,
Yeah,
pet and tell him, to get the job done against
Get the job
Torpedo
done, yeah.
for my buddy Pete, maybe?
Yeah, do that too. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, guys, it's going to be a really exciting show. I can't wait. I'm flying out there tomorrow. So please watch us, spread the word. We want thousands of people watching this Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. All right, guys, let's go to the Wise Dan right now as I bring it on the screen. This is leg 3 of the pick 5. It is race 10. It's, of course, on turf because Wise Dan was another unbelievable turf horse. Guys, name the trainer Wise Dan. Go.
Oh, calling me.
Yes.
Calling me. Sitting one row in front of me at the event at the Keeneland Library last week, Charlie Lepresti.
And owned by? Chicago Connections.
Really?
I'll let you guys. Yep. Someone at home can look up the owner of Wise Dan. I'm putting these. Pete's like, I don't know these guys. I just know.
I got
horses.
the jockey and trainer. Someone else got the owner. John
Pretty damn good. Well, anyway, yeah, someone will tell us in the chat the owner of Wise Dan. Passed away, unfortunately, I think a few years ago. Anyway, $500,000, mile 16th on the turf, older males, really good race, guys. Look at this field. Look at this field. Look at the morning lines. This is a really fun race. Morning line favorite is number 4, Mercante, on an absolute roll, 2 for 2. Nippenberg and Ramos. This horse ran huge on Derby weekend, then won again. He's in fine form. He is 5-2.
Is
Let's see
that the
where we.
owner, Howard?
It is not Al
No, it's
Capone.
not that one. Okay.
Not exactly. No.
Okay. Just
Uh,
checking.
I'm going 3-6-8. Paul's going 7-4-8, and Pete is going 3-4-8. So Pete, you and I are
Yeah.
the same. I'm a little surprised, Pete, because we poo-poo these West Coast horses on turf coming east. But I'm going to let you explain why you like Mia Hermana Ramon, and then I will. By the way, guys, hundreds of people watching, listening right now live here Thursday night. Thank you very much for watching the HHH Racing podcast as we preview Stephen Foster Stakes Day. Pete, mi hermano Ramon, ¿por qué, señor?
Yeah, this is the one I was talking about where I was, poo-pooing glad horses in Kentucky and then picked one in the next race. So
Exactly.
yeah, you can't always listen to yourself. And this is a horse who's not always he's not as good when he hits the grade ones. So as you can see, the last three were grade ones, but you look at the horses he lost to, high quality. So, he's running against some pretty top-notch competition. And the one thing I did like, he just had run pretty steadily. So you see he ran August, October, November, December, January, then he ran in March. Then they give him a little break there, comes back, runs really well. King of Gosford was a good horse who I actually liked on top that day for once, had a half decent pick. And now we're getting this horse second off that. And I think second off might be what this horse likes. You look last time the horse came second off the layoff, ran pretty well and had a nice jump up. So I think if this horse can jump up again, then I think it's really going to be, it really puts himself in the mix. And I think this is a field where I think it's a really good field, but I think it's a field that there's nobody who I think is better than him necessarily. I think there's horses who maybe are running a little better, but I don't look at anyone and say, oh, that horse is just so much better than he is. And the big thing for me, I just think he's working great. You see the works down there. He went a minute on the 14th. He went 59-2, so he's coming in sharp. And again, I'm thinking maybe second off the little bit of a break he had, now he can round back into form because he was really good towards the end of last year. And if he can recapture that, I think it puts him right in the mix. And Glatt, 72% in the money, second off this kind of layoff. So he does well getting his horses ready. Alpha, just a little bit of a break, nothing too big, a couple months, 3 months top. That's where he's sort of at his best. And I also like the trip he's going to get. But let me hear anything else?
Any other
Do you have any other?
That's a lot of reasons.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. I like the horse and I like the price as well that I think we might get.
Yeah, well, according to our wonderful fans, that we're not going to get that price, which I'm going to explain why in just a second. Pete, Tanner Hawkins wants to be on the show from Churchill. I'll tell you what, Tanner, if we find each other, I guarantee you have it on tape. Tanner Hawkins will make a very short appearance on our live show. There you go, guys. As one of our wonderful fans. There you go, Tanner. Now you have more motivation to email me or DM me so we can work that out. The reason why I say that, Pete, according to Paul Conlon, who's usually very reliable, apparently Mercante is scratching. That would be a big change in this race. So if that's true from Paul, that's going to change this race quite a bit. I agree with everything you said, Pete. I don't usually like West Coast distance horses. I don't mind sprinters. See AG Bullet in the and see that other monster that won on. Who's the other? Dang it. Paul, do you remember that really nice? Was it Turf Philly sprinter that won that I liked? Remember on Derby weekend from California? You know what I'm talking about in that race and won. No, it wasn't the favorite. Broke from the outside and beat AG Bullet when AG Bullet came back and didn't run well in that race. Anyway, I can't.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't usually like distance horses going west to east, but Pete, who are we so afraid of in this race? Mercante would have been, to me, the one that we were afraid of most. If he's not in, especially, look, I mean, Miramano Ramon has faced some really nice horses. Johannes, Spears, St. Louis. I think Formidable Man is pretty good. King of Gosford, I was disappointed that he couldn't get the job done last time, but he just fits. He just fits really well here, Pete. And I'm assuming he's going to handle the ship and everything. So I agree with you. Paul, you're going to, again, if Mercante's out, and according to Paul Conlon, that was in DRF. So I got to believe that's true. That takes pace out of the race, Paul, for sure. Does that help or hurt your interesting choice there? the number 7 Brilliant Birdie 3-1, one of two for Cherie, Paul.
I was going to say Queen Maxima, but Christopher
Yes,
Ing
thank you.
already
Yep.
did in the chat, so I'm behind as usual.
Yes.
I think it helps. I think I went back and watched that. These two hooked up last time. I don't think Hernandez wanted the lead last time. I think he kind of inherited it. No, really, no one wanted it, and he was outside. He was coming from the far outside in a relatively shorter run to the turn. So he said, "I'll take it." I don't think that's what he wants to do now. I don't know how. I thought actually Mercante was was going to be going, so that might blow that up, but. I thought Mercante was a serious player here, and
Yeah.
I just thought Brilliant Birdie again ran at least as well, and I think gets a much not a much better, but a better trip, as they say. I don't think he wants to be on the lead, and from out there, Hernandez can kind of see what happens, and hopefully it won't be the same case as last time. And if he does go, I just hope he opens up. Last time he just kind of, he just went to the lead and he went slow. They went 24-2 and 48-2, but you keep everyone else in the race too.
I felt like he had no excuse last time, but he did get run down by a good horse. There's less speed again. They've got the 9 on the lead, Seminole Chief. You know who's gonna be on the lead? Whoever wants to be. You know what I mean, Paul? Like whoever shows intent.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you what, without Mercante, I even like taking Candy even more. I've been a fanboy of this horse, guys. The number 6, the other Cherie. I've been a fanboy of him since he came back and I was on the live show with Equine Edge on July 13th, and I liked taking Candy and tipped him out at 6-1 on the live show for them. And since then, I'm a big fan. I don't like the trip he got last time. I'm not going to show the replay. But in the Turf Classic, it was a very unusually indecisive ride by Jose. It's like he wanted to go, then he took back, and then he was like checked. And remember that turf was really soft and was a mile and eighth. And this is a better spot. If Jose Ortiz is aggressive, guys, on taking Candy, look out. This is a serious threat. And I just want to mention, I would now downgrade Fort Washington, who I have in third. Actually, we all have in third. If Mercante is out, I still think he can win, but I think there'll be less pace. So I would downgrade Fort Washington. Any other thoughts on any of you guys? And then we can move along.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to say I still like Fort Washington just because he's closed into some slower to moderate paces in the last couple, so he's shown he can do it. And one thing I like about him, it's sort of there you go, save the clock tower. We're on the same page here. He's run well second off. Another one who's run well second off layoff. So if he can improve a little bit second off that last race, which was really good, I think it puts him right in the mix. But again, as long as he's not too far back, it just has too much ground to
My
make
concern is I feel like he's a little more of a grinder now. He was younger. He was like a big time closer. Do you remember that? He was like he'd close in the clouds and like really come late. He seems to be a little more grindy now, and I don't know if a slower pace on a mile 16th is going to work, but he's certainly talented enough, Pete, that I'm going to use him for sure. I agree with you. He's probably the best pure closer in this race. So Romano Ramon's more mid-pack to me. So it's going to be very interesting, guys.
By the way, real quick, taking Candy, I had him last time, so I was super disappointed in that run. My only concern with him, all 4 of his lifetime wins were with Lasix, and obviously they don't have it here. So that was my one, because I was trying to get to that horse with you, but because he disappointed me last time.
Jose Ortiz realized he wasn't going to win deep stretch, and he basically just pulled him up. So this finishing 10th by 5 is a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
Again, you got to watch replays to understand this, people. But I like taking your Lasix point, as usual, Pete, is very well taken. And sometimes I don't look at that enough, I will admit. But anyway, I think he's really interesting. All right, guys, Stephen Foster time. This race, wow, this is a really exciting race. It's a field of 7. It's obviously the feature of the day. The whole day is named after this particular race. It is a $1 million Grade 1. I believe it's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic as well at Del Mar in November. $1 million, again, a mile and an eighth, and it's a field of 7. Let me roll down the field that everyone can see on the screen, unless you are listening and you can't see anything. First Mission 4-1, Mindframe 7-2, Skippy Longstocking 6-1, Sierra Leone is the Moorline favorite 5-2, Mystic Dan Derby champ who beat Sierra Leone by a heartbreaking head for me and the rest of the podcast last year in the Derby 3-1, Hit Show winner of the Dubai World Cup 9-2, and the rank outsider Ashcroft for Dwayne Lucas, who we haven't talked about Dwayne, have we? I'm trying to remember when that happened. I don't think we did. Maybe we'll
No, it
mention
was
that.
since the last one.
Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the show as well. For Dwayne Lucas, still listed as the trainer, now retired legend Leperoux is riding. All right, guys, let me first bring up the pace projector, and then we'll get into our analysis. Really interesting race. 6 of the 7 have a legit shot to win. It doesn't say fast, but it's got 5 of the 7 all sort of clumped up not too far from the lead. So this is really going to be a jockey's race, guys. I think the break is going to matter an absolute ton in this race. Let's see where we're going here in the Stephen Foster. On the bottom of the screen, I'm going 1-4-2. Paul is also going to go with First Mission. He's going 1-2-4. And Pete is going to go with Mr. Rapoli and Pletcher to Mindframe. Pete is going 2-5-4. Pete, I'm going to have you go first. To me, this is a 3-horse race, and I'll wait for my opinion. I'll defer to you guys first. To me, it's a 3-horse race. Mindframe is clearly one of the ones that can win. Had a huge 3-year-old campaign, ran a monster race, and maybe one of the races of the year so far, the Churchill Downs on Derby weekend. He is very likable. He is very good.
Yeah, he's really good. I can tell you this is a great race. It's really competitive, but I don't like it because I have negative thoughts about every horse. So I had a really hard time picking a horse on top. So I went with Mindframe mostly for a couple reasons. He likes Churchill. Obviously, like you said, he won the Churchill Downs last time. He's 2 for 2. 2 for 2 here, and one of them at least was going a little longer, but he was super short, and it was against a pretty weak field. My concern with him, I think he'll get a good trip. I think he's, Irad will have him in position. There isn't a ton of speed, but he's in this race, but he's tactical enough, not looking at discounting the last race when he was further back. Normally he's up much closer and he can be tactical and he can be the one who can get first run on a horse like Sierra Leone or Hit Show, some of the other closers. My concern is, does he finish better going shorter? And his best figures, except for the debut, his best recent figures are going longer, but he's finished better going shorter. So that's my knock. Like, can he finish going this distance? And I don't really know. So I'm just going sort of a leap of faith. I think he's a pretty talented horse, and I hope that happens. From a figure standpoint, he's regressed this year, which is a concern. So he hasn't, you want to see a move forward from a 4-year-old generally. So I know I'm not exactly giving the most positive. I just think he's pretty talented, and I think he can work out a pretty good trip and get a jump on the closers. But I don't have a ton of confidence in him or any of the other horses on top.
Would love to see people in the chat give their top pick of the Stephen Foster or a top 3. My opinion on Mindframe, Pete. I don't know what his best distance is.
Yes,
he's a
me
little
too.
confusing.
Yep, me too.
Number 1. Number 2, and I'm probably overthinking this, Pete and Paul. His works have been awfully slow. Now I've watched them. Maybe he's just not a good workhorse, but he was working faster like earlier when he was a 3-year-old getting ready for these big races. I just don't know. This is a confounding horse. He's really talented. I don't know. I don't know why I don't trust this horse, but I just don't. He's never run like a really, really fast race. Maybe he's going to put it together on Saturday, and he's definitely going to be on my ticket, but I'm not so sure about him. I really don't know what to think. Paul, give me your quick thoughts on Mindframe. You have him second.
Well, I think he's 1 for 3 at 2 turns, and I think his best distance is a 1-turn mile or maybe 7 furlongs. Probably 7.5 furlongs
Really?
would be perfect. Yep. Doesn't mean he can't win. I like him as a horse a lot, but and Dornock was a gamer, but Dornock after the Belmont, after the Haskell, I should say. I don't know. I think this horse. I don't think he's going to be 7-2. I think he'll be
No,
lower than that.
that's a
Right?
ridiculous morning line. I'm sorry. All
Yeah. I
apologies
mean,
to whoever does the morning line. This horse can be. I mean, I think Sierra's going to be 9-5. I think Mind Frame's going to be 2-1
yeah. I would say 2-1, 5-2 tops.
at
So,
the most.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think. When I looked at it, I tried to answer that question, Howard, that you asked when I was handicapping the race, and I just came up with that's just very simply. I think he's better around one turn than two. Now, we've all been around a horse that was much better around one turn and won 2 Breeders' Cup Dirt Miles around 2 turns.
Hey,
So it can be done.
hey, Paul, Pletcher too. Pletcher, and some of these include the Derby, which is tough, but Pletcher's only 2 for 32 and only 28% hitting the board in 9 furlong and up on the dirt graded stakes races at Churchill. And that's not just the Derby. That includes the Oaks, the Clark, the Blame, the Stephen Foster, the Fleur de Lis. So it's not just like, oh, he's not that, it's the Derby, so you can discount it. He hasn't been good going long in some of these races here at Churchill. So another little bit of a negative.
He's a really good horse. Let's talk about another good horse and our top pick, Paul. We are both going with the number 1 First Mission.
That
We
was a
know why
lot.
Paul is, because it's Godolphin. We
Oh,
understand
but
that.
we always pick this horse, don't we?
I just have a thing with this horse, Paul. Paul, for like 2 years, we've saying this is like a Breeders' Cup Classic winner,
Yeah.
etc. He's a really talented horse. You and I both have to admit, though, as talented as he is, he's been a bit inconsistent at times. His race 2 back to open the year was clearly a prep. At least Giroux wrote him like it was a
Right.
prep, because that ride drove me nuts. But he still ran well. He was as good and as professional as he's ever been last time. And the Oaklawn handicap beat a very good field, including Banishing, did it really well. Now, he got a very good trip, Paul, but it feels to me like number 1, he's sitting on a big race. And number 2, he's going to get another great trip on Saturday, just like he got in the Oaklawn handicap. And I love Luis Saez on this horse because he's ridden him before, number 1. And number 2, Louis is going to have him in the game enough, Paul, that if they're going slow, he's not going to have to launch from 7 or 8 back. I think First Mission is the price of this, as the value of this race. I think he's very talented. I think he gets his first grade 1 and puts it together on Saturday.
Yeah, well, you talked about the trip. I think he gets a great trip here. And when you showed that time form graphic, Howard, if they're all going to bunch up like that going into the turn, well, yeah, then I want the rail going 2 turns long on dirt. Yeah, I agree with you about the last race. We talked about Mind Frame. Someone put in the chat, and I agree. This is a relatively short field, only 7. I don't know how much pace this is going to be, and we know that Sierra Leone, our dear friend, dear almost $150,000 friend, needs a pace. Is very, very, very good when he has a fast pace to run into, and I don't see that materializing. So. Yeah, and I think, Howard, we're going to get 7-2 on First Mission.
And I think right at the wire is exactly right. Can you trust anyone in this race? No. And that's part of the reason why I don't want to take, the 2 likely favorites in Sierra Leone and Mind Frame, but they can absolutely win. Let's talk about, we're going to go a little bit longer, guys. This is $1 million race. It's the race of the day. We'll go through each horse very quickly. We're not going to talk about Skippy in details, but we've already lauded his praises, guys, especially the job as Safi Joseph has done. 3.6 million. He's going to have the lead, guys, and it could be a slow pace. I don't like Skippy at all in this race, but again, it's amazing. In a big $1 million race, he's found a great spot, guys, and he could hang on for a long time in this race. So I'm not going to use him. Would I be shocked if Skippy takes them a long way? Not at all. Sierra Leone. Guys, I've said this 1,000 times on this show, ladies and gentlemen. I bet with my head, not with my heart. If I was betting with my heart, I would take Sierra Leone in a heartbeat. But again, Pete and Paul, he faces a field with not a lot of speed in it. That being said, remember how everyone crapped on his last race, guys, his first race back? That was clearly a means to an end. And touch upon a star who won that race. When he gets on the lead, he's like a high 100 buyer horse. Touch Upon a Star, guys, is very good on the lead. And Sierra Leone off the layoff, rusty, blah, 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 still ran a 103 buyer, which is just as good as pretty much anyone in this race. He's just going to have to come from behind again. If he wins, I wouldn't be shocked. I'll be applauding and interviewing Chad and Flavian, hopefully on live TV. But guys, the pace again just does not work great for him, Pete.
No, it doesn't on paper, but I don't trust anyone, so I think he could obviously, if he's not so far back and just leaves himself way too much to do, then that's the problem. You like this horse more than I do. I think he's a bit of an underachiever, in all honesty, and I think I don't have him. What? I mean, there's nothing to
I'll
prove.
tell you what, I'd love to own a $6 million underachiever, Pete.
No, but he's not an underachiever if you're the owner. He's an underachiever if you're a bettor of his more often than not, unfortunately. So that's the problem. But I think obviously he has a great shot, but he is going to need a little bit of pace. I agree with you on Skippy. Skippy doesn't win these races, but he finishes third in these races a lot. So if he floats up a bit, he's someone maybe in your verticals as opposed. So by the way, First Mission, though, is the same. First Mission hasn't hit the board in a grade 1 race yet. So that was my knock
absolutely right.
with him, too. So I was like, it's a tough one. And I don't know who's next after Les. Paul, you want to talk Sierra Leone, Paul?
Hey, Pete, let's leave it up to our wonderful viewers. Is Sierra Leone overrated / underachiever? Let's put that in the chat. Let's stick with underachiever. Is Sierra Leone's career been underachieving? Yes or no?
No.
Please comment in the chat or below the video player. I say absolutely no.
No
Pete
way.
says yes. Paul?
No, he won the Breeders' Cup Classic, and it wasn't a one-off. He came within a nose of winning the Derby, and he won the Classic. And if you look at the races he lost the fastest in Torpedo Anna in one race, fastest in another race. The Belmont, he got way too far behind and couldn't grab Dornoch. But trust me, I mean,
four of those losses, though, Paul, he was the under 2-1, in some cases under even money chalk. So
I like him, but I wish I didn't know about him.
Yeah, that means he's undervalued.
Well, I'm talking about purely from a betting standpoint. I don't care about obviously from an ownership standpoint. He's great.
He's lost at short odds. You're absolutely right, Pete. I can't question.
And even the classic to me was he got the perfect setup, which I just don't think he gets here, and that's the problem.
No doubt.
That's why I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't pick him on top. Mystic Dan, Paul. Actually, Pete, I should let you talk, but I'll let you talk after Paul. Paul, I think you and I have been I think all three of us feel pretty similar about this horse all along. Great story, won the Derby, unbelievable ride again in the blame. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is he's not fast enough to win this race based on what he's done. And I don't see him going to the rail in this race and getting a perfect trip. I have no problem with the horse. I think Henry Peak's done a great job with him. He's rounding back into form. And you know what, guys? He might get a perfect trip sitting right off of Skippy. It all depends on what the 7 does. I just don't think he's as good as the others. And I'm not going to come on here and, say the Derby winner is some kind of awesome horse when I just don't think he is. I don't love him in this spot, Paul. I just think it's a really tough spot. You don't have him anywhere in the top 3. Pete's got him second.
Yeah, no, and look we all love Kenny, and on balance, he's done a good job with him. But let's call a spade. And Kenny has said this himself, so this isn't. You don't have to take my word for it. The decision to have this horse come back off a 6-month layoff, going 7 furlongs, shipping cross country by van in the Malibu is one of the dumbest decisions of 2024.
Wow. I'm going to tell Kenny Peak in the paddock that Paul Alford said that.
You ask him. He'll tell. He said it. He has blamed himself a million times.
Right.
He said he might not have said it so eloquently. But, and then that leads to now that leads to the Clunker and the Pegasus. So I would check those two. I'm kind of in between, Howard. I think a little more of him now. Not that was a tough field last time, but, at least he won, which, Derby winners don't often do. Well, they did this year. I don't I wouldn't be shocked. He'll be a C as I write it on my screen, a C on my grid. I don't want to totally get beat by him, but we're not talking like Rich Strike and Giacomo here. I mean, this is a legitimate horse.
Pete, you've got him second. I'm just going to flat out say it. Maybe shocked is too strong a word. I want to be pretty shocked if Mystic Dan wins Saturday. I just think there's 3 or 4 horses that just are gonna have to not run their race unless Mystic Dan's got a 108, 107 buyer in him. Maybe he does. We haven't seen it yet. But you like this horse. You've got him second.
Yeah, and this is a horse I don't like generally. I'm always against this horse, and
Okay.
I was shocked when I was like, you know what, I'm going to put this horse in there. Likes Churchill, obviously. We see the 3 for 4 wins at Churchill, including the Derby and including the Blame, which again, yeah, the Blame wasn't great, but he ran well, and again, he got a great trip. And again, he's one of those horses who sometimes gets great trips. That's at least 3 races where we've said, oh, he's no good. He just got a great trip. Okay, but at some point it becomes more than a coincidence when it happens more than one time, more than a couple times. And I look at him and go, if you go to the time form, his best race was 2 back in against Saudi Crown in that loss. He had a 123, which the 123 doesn't get to the best in this race. First Mission has done better. Sierra Leone has done better. Yeah. But it gets to them if they don't run their best. If they run just a little bit behind their best, he's right there with them. So what if he does just get another trip? And what if he just loves Churchill and that's enough in this field where it's questionable? I have no idea, man. I'm so this whole race. I was going to text you guys today when I was trying to pick the top 3, and I was like, I have no freaking idea. Whoever wins, except the 7. If the 7 wins, good for him. But everybody else, if Ashcroft wins, then I'll I'll be shocked. But everybody else, I could see it and won't even think twice about it.
Wait a minute, Pete. I gotta jokingly call you out on something. We love our fans and viewers. We got hundreds of people watching live. We literally will have thousands of people, I hope, watching our live show Saturday. They're here to get some really good expert analysis and opinions. We can't say we have no clue. They'll give you us, Pete.
But is it disingenuous?
Well, you're not wrong. I get it. We're guessing here, obviously.
No, but is it disingenuous to say I really like a horse when I have no freaking idea? And I assume there's a lot of people. And from reading the comments in the chat, it seems like a lot of other people are in that same boat where they just don't trust any of these horses. And it's really going to be like, all right, if the horse wins, somebody's going to say, I told you so. And it's just going to be they just happen to win on that day. And that's all it is.
I think Ed Burke puts it perfectly. It's weird. We love the field's talent, yet you can't trust any of them.
Yeah, that's exactly
really well
that's
said,
a great way to
Ed,
put it, Ed. That's exactly
you want to co-host next week, Ed? That's one of the best comments we've heard.
Yeah, you're more eloquent than me, Ed, for sure.
Okay, by the way, the favorite one at Churchill in the pick 6, it paid $35,000. It will continue to carry over. It's over $1 million now in the pool for Churchill. It's not gonna it's gonna carry over Saturday because the fields are too small. So only if someone hits it Friday will we not see a massive pick 6 pool on closing day Sunday at Churchill. Hit Show, God bless him. I've been wrong about this horse 1,000 times and only right a few times. He just feels like a clunker. I don't see it. I guess they could somehow go fast. Like maybe if Sias decides to send up the inside and like Mindframe also goes, I guess there's a scenario. But if a closer wins this race, isn't it Sierra Leone? Like I don't see it with Hit Show, but good luck to the connection to Brad.
By the way, your buddy Giroux, Paul, 6 for 7 wins when he's on Hit Show. So when Giroux's up, Hit Show seems to run well. Yeah, it's crazy.
The sources won $8.4 million. Now a lot of that was because of the Dubai World Cup. But guys, in a very weird way, isn't the complete no hope or bomb Ashcroft the key to the race? Because if Leparoux does not send, and by the way, he's supposedly the second best speed in the race. If he doesn't send, they're going to be walking around there. It's going to really hurt Sierra. If he does go, and someone put in the chat that he's in there as a rabbit for someone else. I don't have.
I was just trying to find that comment.
Well, I don't want to bring it up, Pete, because we don't have proof of that, and I don't want to say things that we don't know about.
Yeah, don't bring it up because that's stupid.
I'm not going to put it up. But anyway, if Ashcroft does go, let's just put it this way, guys. that will change the complexion of the race if he's centered, and will give the closers like Sierra Leone a better chance. Paul, you'd agree with at least that fact, obviously, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think the race is being directed by Oliver Stone.
But
That would be sort of cool, actually, if it was. But okay.
he should do a
Anyways.
horse racing movie.
Guys, it's a great race. It's a great race. We're going to move on to the last race here.
By the way, that horse has no other way to win, right? Not that he's going to win
No.
anyway, but he's not going to outclose Hit Show in Sierra Leone. He's not going to he's not going to outstalk First Mission and Mystic Dan.
If this horse wins this race for the coach, I mean, there's going to be tears. That would be just.
By the way, you were going to look for Leperoux to send this horse from the far outs.
Well, what is he doing in the race then, Paul? Like what?
Hey, look, I don't know. You can't ask the coach, unfortunately. Ask Daz Belly.
Okay.
Maybe he was in. Who knows? Hey, anything could happen. But
anyway,
he was 60 to 1 2 races ago, and he should be double that in this race.
No, I mean, I don't want to disparage the coach, especially based on his.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, one more race and then an announcement from Paul. Before that, this is huge. Very big announcement, everyone. You know what? I'm going to go full screen. It's so big. Very big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Starting July 5th, a week from Saturday, for the first time ever on the HHH Racing Podcast, we will have live weekend shows with track video, with the track feed, so you can watch the races as we analyze them with you. We have got an agreement from Monmouth Park and Woodbine to show their races on screen, on air, in real live time. And starting this Saturday and throughout the summer, we will bring you live racing from Monmouth, Woodbine, and also, guys, we are going to be talking about Saratoga and Del Mar. We cannot show those races, but we're going to be breaking down those races in real time, live. This is a huge deal for our podcast. We're also working on extra sponsorships. We're going to have many different people on the show. Pete and Paul, I know other podcasts do this, but not very many. And the ones that do that are I consider, strong podcasts. This is a game changer for us, guys. They'll be able to show live track video during our races. Please spread the word, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear about this, and you hear it now. The first one's going to be a week from Saturday, July 5th. Paul, we're very excited about this.
It could be, Pete, the second biggest development in the history of the podcast. I think you know what the first one is.
We know what the first one is. I don't think we need to mention it, but it does have to do with me and you joining the podcast and raising the level of it. So, yeah. Well, I didn't want to mention it, though. But, yeah.
I know. And why do I have to rain on Howard's parade? He's set it up so nice. No, it's great. Look at it. Listen. It's the live shows, as you often point out, Howard, are very well received.
They are.
That's without replays, right? Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's tricky because, we're at these races a lot, like you're at Churchill Saturday, and, I'm usually trying to sneak on from the paddock at the Travers, which is a circus. But, to be able to have them two very good tracks. Two very good tracks. So, yeah, I think it's great. Seriously.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal, Pete. And maybe we'll see some of Nick's horses run in real time. We'll get him on screen to watch his horse run. How about that? How cool would that be?
Let's get him to stop. If you're watching, let's get him to stop burning some of my gosh darn money. That would be lovely. That's what I would. When I see him on Saturday, when I'll be at his house on Saturday, we'll be watching. We were just talking about, hey, we hope the pick 6 carries to Saturday, which we hope it does, so we can hit it live when I'm at his house.
Pete, you be on the show. Jump on the not to put pressure on you here, but jump on the show for a minute or two.
I'll be boozing at a graduate. His daughter, by the way, I'll give us her love. His daughter Nicole just graduated high school. She's going to University of Rhode Island. So
wow,
I am going to New Jersey for her graduation. Me and Jackson are going for her graduation party. So
wonderful.
I assume me and Nick will be ignoring everyone at the party and watching races in the corner somewhere and losing money. Hopefully not.
Yes, Matt Miller will be on these shows. Apparently, there's an air horn that's in the works, guys. I don't know what that's about, but to pronounce winners, or I don't know what's going on. Anyway, last race. Here we go. American Derby. This is the last leg of the pick 5, which I'm going to be diving in big time. Race 12, about 6:30 I'll probably be exhausted and very excited for the last race in hopes that I'm alive in the pick 5 and any other horizontal bets. This is $250,000, mile and 16th on the turf, restricted 3-year-olds. Morning favorite is the number 3, Tistastic. Will he be fantastic on Saturday? Asperson Rosario 5-2. You got Reagan's Wit, who's talented from the rail. Flying Mohawk coming back from DFS syndrome, Derby Fever syndrome, and a horse I like a little bit out of as a price. Let's go to our top picks, guys. We'll go through this race a little more quickly. I'm going 9-1-3 in the American Derby. Paul's going 2-1-5. Pete's going 1-3-5. Gentlemen, we've been quite different in these races, which is good. Paul, let's go to you. You're going to go with Flying Mohawk, who apparently has taken his medicine. He has no more DFS, which you need to describe to people that are new to the show that have no idea what DFS is. Mr. Dettori, who I've not seen on a lot of mounts actually on Saturday, is taking the mount for Mr. Beckman.
Yeah, so this is the horse. By the way, Nitrogen ran on the off the turf race stakes at Saratoga 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And ran like about a 190 buyer or something.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, it's funny. I previewed the Pennine Ridge for the special that weekend. Talked to Whit Beckworth. You'll get a kick out of this Friday. Howard. I was talking to Whit by phone on Friday morning because he hadn't gotten up there yet. The horse is supposed to run Saturday, and he said, "Well, how's the weather?" I said, "Well, it's been good so far. It's supposed to rain, but I think we'll be okay tomorrow." And then we got 2.5 inches of rain, and the horse they took it off the turf, and he scratched. So. Yeah, the whole premise of that story was obviously getting this horse back on turf. They took a shot. They got just enough points in the JR Stakes because Churchill owns Turfway, so they can give out an inflated amount of points for a Grade 3 race and get into the Derby. And the Derby, he ran like you would expect. So I've kind of been waiting for him. I was going to play him in that race, waiting for him to get back on turf. I don't think this race is any tougher than that race would have been. So I want to have I just think he's going to be the right price here in what I think is a fairly wide open race. I'm kind of against the morning line favorite. So
Okay.
all the more reason to take a price.
Of all the horses that are running, Pete, on Saturday, believe it or not, I'm almost as interested as anyone to see Flying Mohawk and how he runs, along with Tistastic. These horses coming out of the Derby that are supposedly turf horses. I'm really curious to see how they run. You're only Reagan's Wit. This horse was in a bog. That Pimlico on Preakness Day was not good. It was soft. I thought he beat a weak field, but he's coming around. He did it very well. He's going to sit a great trip, and there are a lot of things. There's very few things to dislike about Reagan's Wit, unless you don't think he's classy enough. And I don't agree with that. I've got him second. You have him on top.
Yeah, no, I think the class is there. I agree with you. The field wasn't great, but I thought he beat the field the way you're supposed to when you're just better than them. So I really liked the way he did it, and I liked the way he kicked away, and he was the favorite, so that made sense. But I mean, you look, he was a neck off of Zulu Kingdom, and Zulu Kingdom came back to flatter that form. I think it was at the Turf Classic. I might butcher the name of the race that they came
American
out of.
Derby.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
And by the way, Zulu Kingdom's running tomorrow, Friday night in the Penn Mile.
Yes, right.
Previewed by our wonderful Ben and Boozing guys from Wednesday night.
Someone said
he worked today. Someone put in the chat.
Yeah, which was weird. So they said he's supposed to run tomorrow, but worked. Right? Is that what they said, Paul?
What?
Yeah. And if it was a real work, he ain't running tomorrow.
So I guess we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know
about that, but okay. Anyway.
But it was the American. It was the American turf, right? Was the race they came back in, and then
Derby Day. Yeah.
And then the next one
running 4 furlongs at Saratoga this morning, 51-1. So
that's so weird. I mean, it's barely a work, but that's still a little weird. Interesting.
No, but you don't go 4 furlongs the day before a race. You might blow out, and not to mention it's in Pennsylvania. So
that's not that much of that's weird. Okay. I don't know.
Guess we'll
see.
But yeah, but even and then lost to test score was a little further back, and test score came back and ran second to Zulu
Yes.
Kingdom in that
Yes.
American Terror. So I think the class is there. I'm not concerned about that. And again, it just might be a horse who's just getting good. The lifetime buyer top, lifetime time form top in the last one. Cherie DeVoe, who we love, 4 out of 6 wins in non-graded stakes turf routes at Churchill. So she likes to do this here. So I just think there's a lot to like about that horse.
By the way, Gary wants to know why they aren't putting the blinkers on Flying Mohawk. Paul, any thoughts on that? He
That's a
was
good
out without
question.
blinkers in the Derby, but he's been with blinkers almost his entire career. Maybe he just doesn't need them anymore, right? He's just more mature and more focused.
I'm going to see what if he was supposed to have them at Saratoga. He was blinkers on at Saratoga in that race. So
interesting. Kevin, I'll tell you, there's a lot of love for this blue hat. A lot of people really like the blue HHA. It's not for sale right now, Kevin, but pretty much every year, last few years, we've opened up a store, usually in the springtime. So when we open up the HHH Racing Podcast merch store, Kevin, I'll make sure the blue hat is in there, but it's not available right now. This is a high price item, guys. This is, maybe I'll sell it on eBay for a few $100 or something. Tistastic is in the race. Again, very talented, going back to turf. I think he's got a big shot. Might be launching from a little too far back. Let me talk about my top pick, guys, and then we'll wrap up the show with Paul's big announcement. Giacoso. I'm a bit of a fanboy of this horse. I've always thought he's had some talent. He's been wide, guys, in a lot of his trips. I think he's better than he looks, is my main theme. He's been wide, closing into slow paces in a bunch of his races. He raced well in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, guys, when he was wide and basically had the lead at the top of the stretch and then obviously faded, but that was a pretty fast pace, and Final Gambit came over the top along with Flying Mohawk. Last time, guys, he was wide as wide can be in that American turf, and he ran on. I think it was better than it looks, and he still only lost by 4 to Zulu Kingdom and Test Score, the race that Pete talked about. If there's a way, guys, that Ben Curtis, who I think is a solid turf jockey, can get Giacoso either just off the pace or at least saving ground, there's no killers in here, in my opinion. Now, maybe these former Derby horses are just that much better. I think Giacoso is going to run a big race. To have him on top, I will say, is a bit cheeky, and he probably won't win. But I see no reason why, guys. If he gets a good trip, he can be in the mix. I think this is an underrated, talented horse that I've always liked, and I think it will get better with distance. I think he's interesting. I really do. And if Ed Burke says he loves him, considering how smart Ed is, as we've learned, I gotta agree. Thanks, Ed. I think Giacoso, guys, and he might be more than 10-1 in this race. So, because there's a lot of big names in here, right, guys? So I don't know. I just think he's a bit interesting. We don't have time for your guys' opinion unless you like to give one. Maybe a good board horse, as you guys like to say, reverse tri-key horse.
I like me and Paul are on the same wavelength with the 5 Minaret Station, who beat Giacoso in the Bourbon. I mean, similar though. I think that horse is. I think that horse maybe is. The problem is a little bit of the layoffs. It may not be as sharp as you want, but William Walden, 3 for 5 wins, 5 for 5 in the money. First after 180 to 300 day on the turf in the past couple of years. So he's been able to get horses ready off this kind of layoff. He's hot at the meet.
Yep.
And that horse was really good and was getting good at the end of last year and now has been off. So what if he just improves and then you're getting him at double digits also? So I think in a similar vein as Giacoso, I think a horse that could definitely hit the board at a pretty decent number. Is that what Paul, you like that horse too?
Yeah, as a board.
As a board.
As a board horse, yes.
Yeah, better save your money for the last race in the pick 5. All right, guys, we're coming up in an hour and a half. We need to wrap up the show. But before we do that, usually we have a rant, and we all know from Paul.
You gonna do the best bets?
Oh, sure, we should do that. Let's just show him. Yes, thank you. Paul's like, come on, Art. Paul's best bet, race 10 and pick 3. Not a turf pick 3. This is a straight pick 3. He's going 7 with 1-2 with 1-2.
Brilliant birdie with First Mission and Mind Frame with Flying Mohawk and Reagan's Wit.
And then he's going to the last race with Flying Mohawk, win in place, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Pete's going to go to race 7, a double, 1 with 5, 6. And in race 8, it starts the all turf pick 3, which is race 8, 10, and 12. He's going 5, 6 with 3, 4, 7, 8 with 1, 3, 5. It is a $3 base, $72, Pete.
Yeah, the double is just I'm taking the shot with Royal Spa to beat Torpedo Anna, and that's into Vixen
Sure.
and Lush Lips, and then the turf pick 3 is just the the logicals that I liked on top.
When I saw that you sent in a turf pick 3, Pete, I'm like, all right, I'll join my buddy and give out a turf
Beautiful.
pick 3. I'm going 1, 6 with 3, 6, 8 with 1, 3, 9, which I think will definitely pay if it hits. That is a $54 ticket for 3. Again, 1, 6 with 3, 6, 8 with 1, 3, 9 in the all turf pick 3 on Saturday, races 8, 10, and 12. All right, as we know, almost every week, and it's usually not only negative, it's usually something that Paul has a bone to pick with, and it is Paul's rant of the week. But as you also know, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the positive one. And Mr. Halloran, my friend, this is a very, very exciting announcement. I'm going to allow you to go full screen. Paul, what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I think you good people, you and Pete and Matt especially, and the people of the podcast have kind of lived through this Cody's Wish and Cody Dorman journey with me, and you've heard a lot about this book. And it started all on January 2nd of 2023 when I called Kelly Dorman after having only talked to him twice before and said, what do you think about doing a book on your son and this horse? And he and Leslie signed on, and it's been underway. And about a month ago, started in earnest trying to get a publisher. Most people do that first, but I'm not most people. And have to give a real tip of the hat to our good friend Matt Miller. It's very, very good when you have a great horse racing friend who's also a great lawyer. Not that, we're not talking $1 million deals here, so don't get the wrong idea, but very, very helpful. But in any event, I am happy to say that as of yesterday, I got the signed contract back from Lions Press, and I am under agreement for this book to be published, and it should be out sometime next spring.
Yes. Paul Halloran's
Beautiful.
book on Cody's Wish, which will make millions of dollars and be known worldwide. It'll be on all the major networks, and he'll be more famous than he already is. Paul, can you tell everyone the title of your upcoming book that will be coming out approximately next spring?
Yes. Cody's Wish, a boy, a racehorse, and a fight for life.
Cody's Wish, a boy, a racehorse, and a fight for life. I mean, please put comments in the chat, and also below the video player on YouTube when this comes out, please give congrats. Penn State Scott, congrats, Paul. Tanner Hawkins with some clapping. Paul Collin, you're the man, Paul. Of course, from one Paul to another. James, a lot of claps. I know how hard you've worked on this, Paul. I know through Matt's experience how hard it is to write a book. I'm so happy for you, my friend. I know
Thank you.
It's taken maybe a little bit longer than you would have liked. Not your writing, but the just the whole process. It's really quite an ordeal. I cannot wait for this book. And we should also mention, well, can we talk about the other way that the stories can be told, or should we not go there?
Oh no, that's a done deal. Yeah, it is a feature film is going to go into production probably sometime next year. The Dormans have a deal with a couple of great guys, Jeff Celentano and Warren Ostergaard. If you go on Netflix and watch The Hill, which is a really good movie about a baseball player, these are the same folks. The team is really solid. One of the guys worked on Miracle, Secretariat. So this will be on the big screen someday.
It's amazing. Matt Manjunkin wants to know, are you going to narrate the audiobook?
Oh, good question. I don't love my voice for 200 pages, but we'll see.
Okay. And the other question from Penn State Scott. Paul, who will play you in the Cody's Wish movie?
I would say no one. No one needs to play me in anything. Okay. Although I have gotten a lot of airtime over the years because I'm usually standing next to either Kelly or Leslie, and that gets you on the air.
Now, Pete, rumor has it, Matt, I talked to Matt about this. you and I are not just about a bunch of schlubs. I mean, we're important people, right? We supposedly are going to be in the movie, a little movie maybe in the background as an extra, like cheering on Cody's wish or buying some popcorn from Matt at the
Well,
concession stand. I mean, shouldn't we be in the movie? Doesn't
well,
everyone agree?
can't
Pete
we
and I should be
do
in the
like
movie?
can't we
I mean,
do like the Wilbon Kornheiser PTI where we do, we're on the podcast in the movie and they go to us
I
and we
like that
say,
idea.
hey, let's talk about the Breeders' Cup Mile coming up, and we'll do a quick discuss. Or
We have video.
We have
the
video
Cody interview. We have the Cody interview. Howard.
We have Kelly. We have the whole family on multiple times. So I see a 3-minute, at least a little 3-minute clip in there, right?
Yeah, I don't want like a little. I mean, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's end with this. There's a lot of great comments. Thank you from Matt Miller. I'm so incredibly proud of you, Paul, and you've done tremendous justice to the trust placed in you by the Dorman family. The book is an absolute gem and will be a huge hit with all audiences, from Matt Miller. So there you go, guys. We had several announcements tonight on this show. I will say very unselfishly and truthfully, that announcement might be the best one I've heard all night, as much as I care about the podcast and all the people involved. The fact that Paul's book will be completed next spring and a movie after that is just going to be incredibly cool. Guys, we've been on for a long time tonight, but I think it's been well worth it. Any final last thoughts from Peter or Paul on the fantastic day Saturday? I will be there live. We have a live show starting at 3:30 Eastern.
Safe travels. I hope you do better getting out of Kentucky than I did last week.
Well, I mean, that should be pretty easy, right? It can't get much worse than that. Final thoughts, Pete?
No, it's a great card and have a great trip, man.
Thank you.
Get us some winners and let's get the pick six to carry over to Saturday so we can all hit a piece of it.
Terrific. I like that. Yeah, we should do a group pick six on Sunday because I'm sure it's going to carry over. I'm in. Pick six. Got it. I love it. All right. Pete's in too. All right. That'd be awesome.
Why not?
All right. Wonderful. For my great co-hosts and friends, Pete Visco and soon-to-be author Paul Halloran right down there. This has been your host, Howard Kravitz. It's been episode 416 of Picks and Ponies. Very simply, crush your bets and watch our show live on YouTube this Saturday at Churchill Downs for Stephen Foster Day. Take care, everyone. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.